Okay, hi guys. I'm trying to turn up my volume here. Happy Monday. There we go. Today we're going to talk about your frequency, and hopefully you caught my little title. Your frequency is what you frequently see. So this has a lot to do with vision boards, the words that come out of your mouth and onto paper, things like that. So we're going to cover that. Before we do, though, I just want to remind you guys that I know we're anxiously awaiting for this GLP-1. I mean, aren't we all anxiously awaiting? Don't sit idle. I put in the chat today for the team chat a message that I sent out to some people who have requested information about the GLP-1. And obviously, we don't have anything to share right now. So I basically sent them a message saying, hey, in anticipation of the GLP-1 release, here's a few things that you could purchase now, get started on, and your body will be that much more ready to, absorb in the GLP-1 and to like get yourself roll. I forget exactly how to word. Anyway, I could pop it in the chat. I ended with, do you need your login information? Because, okay, so I sent the message. I also built a cart with the items in it. The items I suggested were women's capsules, balance, and biotic, because that's just a really great way to get people to start dabbling with Thrive without worrying about, I don't like shakes and the sticker's weird, blah, 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 right? So I built the cart and then I said, you need your login information. And I've had now, I think I've had 6 people respond back and say, yes, please, what's my login? So people they're reading they're reading and they're reading the message, they're looking into the carts, they're asking questions about what's balanced, what's biotic, that kind of thing. So again, this isn't necessarily selling the GLP-1, but I'm trying to get people started, get them in the system, get them to learn to love Thrive, learn to love Le-Vel. So don't miss these opportunities to have conversations with people because they have reached out to you, right? Like they most likely responded to a post or something that you've put up about the GLP-1. And so they've they've opened the door is basically what I'm looking at it as. And because they've opened that door for me, I'm not just going to stand there and wait for corporate to come in. I'm actually trying to like get a conversation started now and get them. Some people had done Thrive in the past and dropped off the face of the earth. Some of these people have never thrived a day in their life. So this would be getting them started with the company or in some cases getting started back on the company. Let me copy this message really quick and throw it in here just in case you missed it in the team page. So again, please notice that the link that's in here, that's my link to the cart I built. So definitely take that out, build your own cart, put your own link in there. That way they're not ordering from me. I mean, thanks, but I don't want to do that to you. But again, this is just my thought, just a way to kind of get the conversation started. And it has gotten conversation started today. It's not only just did they ask for their login information, but a couple people were asking about food allergies. One lady was talking about what are some natural things she can start doing because she really can't afford to spend more money right now and she wants to save. And so we just talked about upping her fiber, her protein, her water, like simple things like that. So hopefully this will help if you're looking for a message to send to people today, or you're not really sure, if you haven't been following up with your GLP-1 people yet, please do. The other thing I want to throw in here really quickly is don't forget to repeat in your stories your GLP-1 slides. What is GLP-1? Who is it for? What does it do? Holistic, like blah, blah. Like repeat that. You do not need a new picture. You do not need new words. If you shared it once, share it again. If you have created the board where you can collect information, make sure you're sharing that link over and over and over. Remember, right now is our chance to be the advertisement that just keeps showing up, that just keeps seeping into their brain, right? That's what we're doing right now. We're pre-launching. We're trying to get people excited. We're trying to make people aware that this product is coming out. Then staying in contact with them some way, shape, or form and starting to talk about their health. If you are waiting for the product to drop to talk to people about the product, you're going to be a couple months behind already. Okay. So just keep those things in mind. I wanted to throw that out before we got started. Now, the next thing I want to actually get into, oh, thank you. Lindsay's excited. I'm excited for this topic too. So if you were at the most recent leader retreat, you will have heard some of this, but I want to go over it again because repetition is key. And also I know we only had room for so many people. And so a lot of people didn't get to go. One of the things that we were gifted, I will call it, while we were there, was a presentation given by Bobby Joe and Rhonda. And they shared with us what they call the lifesavers. Okay, and the SAVER stands for silence, affirmation, visualize, exercise, reading, and scribe. And I was on board. Like the whole time they were doing that, I was like, yes, I have silence in the mornings. Yes, I do my affirmations. Yes, I visualize. You guys know I do my morning walk, so I get my exercise. Reading is something I actually started incorporating like last September, so a year ago. And then we hit the word scribe, and I was like, oh crap, like the brakes just like totally locked up because I don't scribe. I don't write things down a lot. I have horrible handwriting, and I guess I'm just kind of lazy when it comes to that. So since we have come back from the retreat, I've been home for a week now, I have been scribing, and I will tell you I haven't done it all 7 days. I have missed a day here or there, but having done it 4 or 5 days out of 7, that's huge for me. Like if I had done it 2 days out of 7, I would say that's huge for me. So the first thing I want to make sure to throw out is don't try to be perfect. Okay. When it's coming to doing these daily affirmations and the scribing and looking at your vision board or creating a vision board, don't aim for perfection. Okay. Because if you're not doing anything now, if you just do it 1 day a week for a month, that's going to be more than you've done, right? If you set your sights, this is just me. If I set my sights in 7 days a week, I'm not going to hit it. I'm going to start berating myself. I'm going to be like, oh, I suck. Oh, this isn't working. It's not worth my time. I can't do it, blah, blah, blah. Whereas if I just say, hey, do I have a couple of minutes where I can sit down and write some stuff down? Do I have a couple of minutes to sit down and look over my vision board? If I do, yes, great, good. Then I've done it, right? Versus try to be perfect. So don't try to be perfect in your effort. Just put forth the effort. I always feel like activity creates activity. And so just putting forth the effort is going to start creating that activity for you. So one of the things that I learned separately, but it was definitely reinforced at our retreat. I learned this from Bob Proctor. He's one of my favorites. I've been listening to Bob Proctor, reading his books for years. God rest his soul. He passed in 2020. One of the things he says to do is every day. Now he says every day before bed. That doesn't work for me. I have to do it every day in the morning or sometime in the early afternoon. So again, take it with a grain of salt. Don't be perfect, right? But every day you're going to write down on a sheet of paper with a pen, like words to paper, right? You're going to write down 10 things that you're grateful for. And I will be very honest with you. Sometimes I am so overly blessed, and I don't mean that to be braggy, but like when I look at my life, like I am so overly blessed that sometimes I struggle to write down what I'm grateful for because I just feel like, duh, I'm grateful for it all. But I also sometimes get in a hurry and I think, well, I'm grateful for the sunshine today. I'm grateful that I, had running water this morning. Like I'll just throw things out that I am grateful for, but I'm not really feeling it. So what I wanted to share with you, let me see, I'm going to share my screen. I came across a couple of resources for you. That's Facebook. That's not a resource. There is a book on Amazon. It's called A 1001 Reasons to Be Thankful. It says this book will save your life. People gave it great, we call it reviews. I feel like it's just this crazy ongoing list of all these things that you could be grateful for. So if you're a reader and sometimes you need spurred, or maybe you just want like a little reference where if you're stuck, you could just open a book really quick and look. Here is a resource. Then on the flip side, I found a website that I'll put this in the chat. This is a person's list of 1,000 things they're grateful for. So you will see like some of this is I know how to swim. I'm grateful for loans. I'm grateful for the feeling of being naked. That's funny. I'm grateful for YouTube. I too am grateful for YouTube. I've learned a lot. You'll also see on this list that this person is very specific in the fact that they say things like, I'm grateful for Fuku tea. I don't know what kind of tea that is. They're grateful for, there's actually like a part where they said people's names. That must be closer to the top. But I thought this was so great because these are things like grateful for airplanes. I love to travel. Like I'm grateful for airplanes. I'm grateful for flight attendants, right? I'm grateful for ticket, I don't know what they call them, the ticket gate people, whatever, that get you on the plane. I'm grateful for sunny days. This is just like this. I'm grateful for my manager, Jing Wu. Well, I don't know Jing Wu, but I'm grateful for Lindsay, who is manager-ish in my life, right? So there are things that you can use to help trigger your mind if you're having trouble. Let me get back over here so I can put this in the chat. This is the website that I just shared with you. And then the other thing that we were looking at is the book, 1001 Reasons to Be Thankful. I guess I'll copy and paste that too, so everybody can have that. Paste. Okay, so those are just some tools if you need them. But I'm telling you, if you just sit down and give yourself a couple minutes to think, you will come up with some things. So I'll just be vulnerable and I'm going to read to you the ones I did today. I am so grateful for the way my parents raised me and that they are still a part of my day-to-day life. I'm grateful that my nephews love me and allow me to be a part of their day-to-day life. My ability to take a long walk every morning. I'm grateful for my dogs and their health. I'm grateful for my team and their desire to grow this business. I am grateful for my health and my age. Like age is a privilege denied by many. I am grateful for my home to shelter me from the weather. I am grateful for YouTube to teach me. So that's so funny. I just read that because I had already written that. I'm so grateful for my office to have space to work. And I'm so grateful for my washer and dryer because hand washing is hard. So those are just things that like I had a conversation with my parents today and it made me think about that. I made a vet appointment for the dogs. It made me think about that. We got rain coming hopefully tomorrow. That made me think about, being grateful for a roof. So if you just spend a couple minutes, and here is where to me the difference comes. I have often laid in bed in the morning or just sat kind of quietly and thought about things I'm grateful for. And that's good. But to actually write it down, to actually put pen to paper so that your brain has to actually process the words so you see it in writing, that truly will get in, like it gets under your skin, right? It gets into your body. So Bob says to write down 10 things a day you're grateful for. And if you have to scrape bottom and say, I'm grateful for my toothbrush, then just do what you got to do. If you've got more time and you want to get inspiration, there's a couple resources. The other thing he says to do every single day is to pick 3 people who, in his words, are bothering you and send them love. Because here's the thing. Let's say you are ticked off at Sally. Sally's maybe said something mean or she got on your nerves or whatever. Sally has done pissed us off, right? And you're talking about how Sally's made you mad and you're thinking about what Sally did and how upset you are with Sally. All you are doing is staying on Sally's frequency, right? Sally's down here acting like a wench and you're right there with her, talking about her, reliving it, going over in your mind. But if you rise above it and you send Sally love, you literally pull yourself up out of her frequency, right? And you get yourself in the good vibes. So instead of wasting time and lowering yourself to the negative thing or the negative person, bring yourself above it. And it's funny because I really had to think about this because I don't have somebody who's bothering me every day, thankfully, because I guess because I work from home and I get to work with you guys. But there are some things even that just bother me. Like I'm super bothered right now by this whole P. Diddy thing. And not bothered that he's going to hopefully be served justice, but just bothered by like, it keeps coming up on social media for me. And I'm like, it's a rabbit hole and it's so disturbing. And so I'm just like, I have to send that situation love and send the victims love. And I just got to get out of that loophole. Right. And I know that might seem weird. And it honestly seems weird for me to even say it because I don't keep track of a lot of like celebrity stuff. But this particular person did criminal activities and he really harmed a lot of people in the process. And so that just gets me, that makes me mad and makes me hurt for those people. And so I just realized the other day that like almost every time I was picking up my phone, I don't know that I was looking for it. Maybe the algorithm is serving it to me now, but I kept coming across stuff about it. And I was like, okay, I gotta get out of that vibe. I gotta just send love to those people and pray for the justice system and like let that shit go because I don't have time for that. Right. And so sometimes it may not be like a person in your day-to-day life that's bothering you. Maybe it's a situation. Maybe it's something, like when there's a war going on or when there's a storm someplace and people might be, maybe people might be in danger. If there's something like that, sometimes you just need to send that thing love, that thing or those people love so that you can get yourself back out of that, get yourself out of the worry, out of the stress, out of the negativity. So 10 things that you're grateful for, sending 3 people or situations love, and then ending the pod. Yeah. So Sandra had that damn pod loaded with furniture and she needed to get it unloaded and it was just this was driving her nuts. And the more you think about something that's driving you nuts, you just keep driving yourself nuts. So, yes, sometimes you got to vent, but then after that, you just got to say, you know what? I'm pouring love into it. I love that pod for holding our stuff. I love the fact that we have the ability to even pay for a pod. And if you start looking at the situation from love and sending love at it, it elevates you completely out of the funk. And so 3 people or situations. And then the last thing he says to do every day, and again, in writing, is to write down the words, what would you have me do? Who would you have me help? And what would you have me learn? So again, you're just writing this down on paper. And depending on who or what you believe in, those words are going to God, those words are going to the universe, those words are going to Mother Nature. But you're saying, what would you have me do? Who would you have me help? And what would you have me learn? And so basically, you're starting off with the 10 things that you are just so grateful for. Things that you know make your life easy, wonderful, full of happiness, like whatever you're grateful for. Then you're going to send love to 3 people or situations who need it because you need to elevate yourself out of that situation or out away from that person. And then you're going to end with basically open arms. What would you have me do? Who would you have me help? And what would you have me learn? So that's why I like to do it earlier in the day. But I also know going to bed at night with those things on my mind would also. So you do what works for you. Yeah, bless and release. Yes. You do what works for you. But the biggest part of this is writing it down. So now let's say you're crazy busy. Maybe you're traveling, maybe your kid's sick, whatever. There could be a lot of things happening. Then do it in your head, right? That's better than nothing. But when you have the opportunity to write it down, it is so powerful to put it onto paper. And you guys, I have the worst handwriting. There are sometimes I go back to read what I wrote and I'm like, I don't even know what that word is. I have no idea what I was trying to spell. I don't know. But it doesn't matter because in the moment when my brain had to put it into my hand, had to put it on paper and my eyes had to see it, that's that full circle that we're looking for. Doesn't matter if I can't read it 5 days or 5 hours later. I knew in the moment and I felt it in the moment. So can you put those in the TAM page can you put them in the team page? Can you put them in the team page okay, yeah. I thought maybe TAM. I thought my nickname was coming out. I forget. We got a new nickname in Florida and I forget what it is now.
Those questions, because I can't write fast enough. Honey.
Okay, yeah. So that's one aspect of raising your frequency by what you frequently see. And so if you frequently are seeing on paper the things you're grateful for and the situations that you are going to put love into, and you see those questions every day or every so many days, how many days, I hesitate to say every day because again, I don't want to set you up for failure. Just do this as often as possible. If you are seeing that on a day-to-day basis, that is going to totally lift you up. Like when I gave the example of Sandra in the pod, could you feel how different it was when I was talking about how the pod was full, the pod needed empty, the pod was driving her nuts? Where would she put all this stuff? This damn pod versus, oh my gosh, this pod was so helpful. We were able to put everything in the pod. We were able to store it there. We were blessed enough to be able to pay for the pod and have it on site. Like, do you see how different that feels? And it's not even my pod. I'm just talking about the situation. But if you turn those things around and you feel what you're writing, that's going to lift you up. And I just prefer to be lifted up every morning. So that's why I do mine in the morning. The last thing I want to cover, and again, this is something that the retreat got to see first. So if you've been to the retreat, you've already seen this. As a matter of fact, you have this. But I could not encourage you guys enough to make a vision board that you can take with you and look at it consistently. So this is Sandra's showing hers too. So this is just a key ring. Okay, this is just one of them. I don't know what they call it. It's like a big key ring. Because we were at a retreat, we did have a little charm that relates back to our retreat. But the meat and potatoes of this are something that you can do today. These are just wallet size printed off pictures of things I had on my vision board. Okay. So yes, I could look at those every day, but the most important part is what is on the back. Okay. You'll see on the back of every picture, it says, I am so happy and grateful now that ... So for example, this is a picture of Sicily, Italy, right? So obviously that's something fun to look at. It reminds me of where I want to go. But on the back, I say, I am so happy and grateful now that we've been able to visit Sicily and see where Tom's family originated. Saying those words, I'm so happy and grateful now that we've been able to go to Sicily to see where Tom's family originated means a ton more than a picture of a beach, right? It puts meaning to it. And you know, the most important part, That's in my handwriting. You'll never be able to read it because it's in my handwriting, but that's in my handwriting. I had to sit down and look at that picture, think about what that picture meant to me. I had to flip it over and I had to put it into a sentence. And when you put it in the sentence, you're putting it into the sentence as if it's already happened. I'm so happy and grateful now that we've been able to go to Sicily and to visit Sicily and see where Tom's family originated. I'm not saying, gosh, I hope I can go to Sicily someday. Man, wouldn't it be cool if I could go to Sicily someday? Gosh, I guess if we could just get to Italy, that'd be a start, right? No, I'm being very specific. I want to go to Sicily, Italy. I want to see the little village where his family originated, right? And I'm so happy and grateful that we're getting to do that because that's what I'm going to frequently see. And that's the frequency I want on. I don't understand. I mean, I'm not going to pretend to like understand all this stuff, but everything in life is energy. So like this ink pen looks like it's just a plastic ink pen. But if you honestly put this up underneath a high powered microscope, you would see all the particles that are moving around to make this ink pen, which to me is mind boggling because I feel like it's, you know, a hard piece of plastic, but in reality, it's moving. And so everything that you want in life is already here. It's moving around. You just have to put it out there and get on the frequency that it can then come to you. And I know this sounds hoodoo voodoo, but I want you to think about if you've ever remodeled a room or maybe just even redecorated a room or put like put an outfit together, right? Like, have you ever thought, okay, we're going to this wedding and it's formal and I want to wear something appropriate, but I want to spice it up with a punch of color. And so in your head, you start to think about this dress and maybe these bright shoes or maybe this bright handbag. And then you, before you know it, you're like, oh, these earrings would be so pretty with it. Like you're literally visualizing that in your head. And you may or may not have the exact things already in your closet. But when you go out and you go shopping for it, guess what you're going to find? The things you conjured up in your head. Maybe you thought, oh, I want a V-neck dress that's got a ruffle hem. I don't know, I'm just making shit up. Or and I want hot pink earrings, or I want a hot pink stiletto, right? Like you see it in your head first. You wrap your mind around it, and then you go out and you find it, or you walk to your closet and find it. Like maybe who knew all along, maybe you had something that was somewhat appropriate. I always think of because I've had a lot of kickback over the years from highly educated people about vision boards and the hoodoo voodoo of it. But I graduated college with interior design, and all we did for 4 years was draft up plans, floor plans, right? We drew floor plans. And as a designer, you can't just say, okay, for the kitchen, this is where these cabinets are going to go, right? You can't just do the bird's eye view. You then have to draw it and you have to say what kind of crown it's going to have. What kind of hardware is it going to have? Where is the light going to be above it? Is there going to have glass inset? Will there be trim around that? Will it be clear glass? Will it be read it? You have to get really, really specific, right? And you're just drawing this stuff. You're seeing it and then you're putting it on paper. And then here's the kicker. You then share that vision, right? Like as a designer, I would then share that vision with a cabinet builder, Lisa's husband. I would share it with Lisa's husband. He built cabinets, right? He's a carpenter. You would share it with the electrician. You would share it with the plumber so they knew where to put the sink. You literally had to come up with it in your head and then share it with the appropriate people so that it could come to reality. So the reason I'm telling you that is because while it's so important to have this and to be connected to this, it's also important to share this with people, especially if it involves your family. So for example, the trip to Sicily. What if I never told Tom that was one of my goals? And I booked us a trip to Sicily. And he was like, what are we doing? Where are we going? Why are we doing this? Like, that would be really weird, wouldn't it? But if I tell him, hey, I want to go to Sicily. I want to see where your family originated. I want to like find the little village your grandma told us about. Like, I just think that would be so awesome. Well, now I've shared that with him. So I've put it out there, right? It's out, it's floating around. And I've shared it with all of you now too. So he could start saving money. He could start learning more about Sicily. He could start talking to a travel agent. You've got to share, like first you've got to get it in your mind what you want, and then you've got to be comfortable sharing it with the right people. I'm not saying you got to share it with everybody, because for example, the cabinet that maybe I designed for someone's kitchen, I could share it with 4 different cabinet makers, and one could tell me I'm crazy and that it can't be built, right? because maybe he couldn't build it. Maybe his skill level wasn't such, or maybe he thought it was ugly, so he didn't want to build it. Right. So you can share it, but you got to make sure you're sharing it with the right people, like the people who could get you there. So I can tell you straight up, we are your people. You could share this stuff with us for sure. And we will, like, I know right now there's probably 2 of you that are like, oh, I know the best place to stay, or I know the best flight to get to Sicily, and I have a travel agent that can hook Tammy up, right? I know. And that's because I put it out there, right? So if you're always talking to the right people about your visions, it's going to come to fruition that much faster. So for example, the kitchen cabinet, if I just drew it up and I put my little picture and I tucked it away, it's not going to get built ever. It'll never come to fruition, right? Because it's just a floor plan. It's just a drafted drawing. I have to share that with the person who can actually build it. I have to share it with the person who can mill the wood, who can cut the wood and form it into the shape, who can cut the glass, right? Like you've got to bring people into your dreams. But you got to make sure your dream is tight. You got to know what it is that you're dreaming for before you start sharing it, right? So anyway, I hope that this helps you. I really want to encourage you. I have the let me hang on a second. I have for the back part, this happy and grateful. Canva link. I have the Canva link. I couldn't think of the word. So there it is in the chat. There's the Canva link for the back. But you guys, guess what? You don't need it. You just literally need to write the words. I am so happy and grateful now that, and then fill in the sentence. But if you want a cute background, that's it. So what I did to do this, actually, let me share my screen one more time. So what I did to do this is once I've uploaded, saved, whatever the right word is, my pictures. Oops. Hang on, my computer is very slow now that we're all together. Look, there's a picture of Sandra D. Holy macaroni. All right, well, so I right click on my picture. I'm sorry, this is taking so long. And I go up to, oh, let me hang on. Let's just pick all of our pictures. So let's say we had, we're going to pick this even. Sandra, we're going to pick you too, just so we have this all together. So I'm picking these 5 pictures. Let's say these are the 5 pictures I want on that I want to print out. I'm going to right click on the picture. I'm going to go to print. Now it's going to ask me what size. Oh, there's Sandra. It's going to ask me what size do you want? I'm going to go to here and I'm going to say wallet. And it just put 5 of those on one page, wallet size, right? So you can print 9 of them at a time. And so then I would click print and I would cut those out. But now before I would cut those out, I would actually go to, so I have to scoot you guys over here again. Why can't I get this to do anything? Because I'm not on the right damn button. That's why. Okay. Where is my I'm so happy and grateful now that? Okay. So now here's my I'm so happy and grateful now that. I'm going to tell it to print. Right. And so basically I've taken my copy and I've pushed it and I'm going to flip it in the printer. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to say wallet. And I had 5. So I'm going to tell it I want 5. And boom, there's 5. So now when I rerun that paper back through the printer, it's going to have that on the back. And I know this might be, some of you are like, probably like, duh, Tammy, we know how to print, but some people don't know how to do that. So now you do. Okay. Stopping my share. All right. Well, you guys, I hope that was helpful. I hope this is giving you something to think about. So 10 gratefuls, 3 people or situations that you need to send love to. What would you have me do? Who would you have me help? What was the next one? Someone help me. What would you have me do? I'm having a total brain fart. Who would you have me help? Oh, and what would you have me learn? There it is. Like that's what you're writing down. And please do not start with I need a new planner or I need this or I need that. You need a piece of paper. But you need a piece of paper. It doesn't have to be in a binder. It doesn't have to be in a folder. It doesn't have to be pretty. If you happen to have a notepad laying around, just open the damn thing up and write in it, right? Just open it up. It does not have to be anything special. It just has to be you, your writing utensil, your brain, your heart, and the words have to be on the paper. And then, like I said, I can't encourage you enough to think about, so these are laminated, right? That's how we put them on the key ring. That's how we kept them. and just ask me. I have a link for that too. I got a link for everything. So it's too bad I don't have an Amazon store. So anyway, that's it. Thank you a million. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.